Welcome to the Roy Snarr Show, entrepreneurship and giving back. Now, here's your host, Roy Snarr.
Alex Hormozi, again, they bringing that up. He had this video talk about debt ignorance. Like if you want to be at $10 million and you're at 2 or 3, then your debt ignorance is costing you $7 or $8 million a year, right? And then how do you overcome that? Well, you can't grow a business without spending money. That's what a lot of agents are so scared to do.
Amen to that.
They're like, oh, $100 a month, I don't think I can afford that. You can't afford not to,
Yeah.
right? Or once you cancel your Netflix bill, like, I mean, how bad do you really want it, right?
Correct.
So even today, we live by those standards where we literally put like virtually everything into the practice. And even at times, we'll overcommit to certain things and say, hey, you know what? We know it's going to take a long time to pay that off, but it's going to be worth it.
Totally.
Right? Totally take that chance and reinvest it. And don't be cheap either. I mean, pick the right things, get the value, and you pay to pay attention. You buy it, like I tell all the agents all the time, if you go to events, right, such as 8%, buy the best ticket you possibly can.
Amen.
Because when you pay that for that ticket, you're going to pay attention there. You're going to be in the seat. You're not going to be all hungover the next day, like half of these insurance agents are. You go there for a reason.
Correct.
And you go there to meet people. You go there to learn and grow. And don't be shy. Talk to everybody that you can.
Yeah, if you're really there to grow, imagine the kind of conversations you're going to have when you spend $2,000 for a ticket versus $200 for a ticket.
Right.
Think about the level of conversations you're going to have.
Yeah.
You're going to hang out with Roy Snarr. You're going to hang out with Luke Aker. You're going to hang out with Sand. You're going to hang out with Nate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just different.
It is, because it's like it's one of those things where the more that you make investing back into the practice, you also want to invest into different groups and into different events and conferences because you meet higher caliber people there.
Yep.
So for example, if you're going to do prospecting when you first start, like the Chamber of Commerce is amazing. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's free half the time, or like $30 a quarter or something, right? So the quality of people that you find there that you're trying to sell to or build relationships to, you can't soar with the eagles if you're on the ground with the turkeys. So my perception of these events is like, if you pay the higher ticket levels and you go to the private VIP parties, you're all like-minded. You're there to get value. And if they can afford those tickets, even if you have a hard time affording it, you don't have to tell everybody, but even if you do, go to those events because there's a reason why those people are doing that, and ask them about how they built their business. You know what's great about your event and other industry events? Like, I've never had an issue. If I came up to you and said, hey, Cody, I'm new in this practice. Can you give me a couple pointers? Everybody spills the world. I even, I bought a package of tickets from you. There was a lady that I met during the SWAT event. She went all in on the practice, single mom, and said, I got laid off. I'm trying to build this practice. I said, I'll tell you what, if you will go, right? I got to check to make sure she's coming too. But anyways, I will give you a free ticket to go. Now, I normally don't do that because you pay to pay attention, but if you will go, I will do that. And she started like almost getting emotional.
That's so cool.
And I said, hey, you know what? Because I was in your place one time and people helped me out, and then you'll be where I'm at, and then you'll be able to help other people out too.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that you do that, and that's what's cool about it too, is like people that end up achieving a little bit and becoming better along the way, they want to help people out. Now, I do agree with the whole, like, I've given out too much for free and I've tried to help too much, and then I'm like trying to drag someone to success, and I want it more than they do.
Yeah, that happens.
But I do believe in helping them, man, and like, trying to do what you can to help along the way. I think that's really cool, and I love that we always both probably said along the way, like, hey, if we ever, in whatever level we are now, but like along the way, like I want to look back and also help people too. So
that's what it's all about, because like there's been, I talked about this with Luke too, like, there's been times where we've poured our heart and soul into agents and then nothing happens.
True.
And it's just business, and then the same thing. I always want it more than they want it, right? And you can't have that. They have to want it more than what you want it, right? And so it has to be like a working relationship. Yeah. Then there's other times where you'll waste a lot of time and you can't get that back. But for those that it does work out, like one of my business partner now, Garrett, he was working multiple jobs, and now he's full time in the practice. He's going to make probably $350,000, $400,000, if not more, just by. And this is really his second year into selling full time, right? And so he's just growing exponentially. He'll be at a 7-figure income in the next 3 years. And it's really cool because we've done this, we've been able to build things together. He's been able to help me. I've been able to help him out. And so it's so rewarding. And with other agents too, especially people that follow your stuff, like, hey, I was able to quit my job. I was making enough money. It's rewarding. I get more of a thrill by having somebody else succeed that we helped than even like, I'm hard on myself. Like if they do well because we helped them, it makes me feel better.
Yeah, 100%. Why do you think we're so hard on ourselves?
That's a great question, because it's like, even taking a compliment sometimes is always awkward, right?
It is.
I don't know. I'd much rather give compliments than like to receive them. And, I think a lot of it is, in my personal opinion, just from my experience, like, maybe it's a little bit of insecurity, right? Because people, they see like myself and you obviously too, as like extroverts, right? I wasn't always like that, right? I mean, I've always extroverted with my friends, but it was, kind of like camera shy and stuff like that. And it just maybe was like a self-limiting belief and everything else.
That's 100% true.
And then it's a constant battle too, like, you don't want to, you want to be humble, but also appreciative at the same time. So it's like, hey, you're the greatest. Yeah, I know. It's like that's like, okay, that's not like very humble. Like, hey, thank you, I appreciate that. We work very hard for it.
So where's the line? This is a really good point, because it's like, okay, in the world we live in today, 2023, social media, attention spans, TikTok world, Instagram, Threads, whatever, YouTube, whatever it is. The goal is to get someone's attention.
Yeah.
The goal is to get people to be following what you're doing.
Right.
To watch your journey.
Yeah.
To get a backseat to what's going on in your life.
Totally.
But also there's the attention. You want people to keep people's attention.
Yeah.
But you do want to stay humble along the way.
Yeah.
Which is a very hard line to walk, because people could see me walking in doing interviews or stage different stuff or be on YouTube. I've had so many people that come off I'll literally walk off a stage and I'll be like, dude, I thought you were like freaking arrogant online and like, you know what I mean? And I didn't think I liked you very much.
Yeah.
But after hearing your story and like getting to know you and get to shake your hand, hang out for a second, listen to you speak, dude,
you're like, I gotta change my filter on Instagram.
I'm like, what am I doing to cause that? Even though I've got to be me, do my best self, stop worry about what everyone else thinks, and do me and do right, and people will see it along the way, and some people that don't love it will end up loving it. But I think it holds a lot of people back, because they're like, well, I don't want to be arrogant, but I got to be humble. But I want to get attention. But I want to build business. But I want you to know me. But I want to post on social.
And I want to show my success.
I want to be seen.
I think that the way that I personally balance it, and you do a good job at this also, is you share your mistakes and your failures.
Yeah.
Because that shows vulnerability, and we're all vulnerable. And it's like, hey, look, this is how I completely screwed up. And I don't want you to do the same thing. So learn from my mistakes and save the money.
Yeah.
But what we did from that, we learned from that, we were able to build this level of success, which is awesome. And we're very appreciative of that. And then with some of the success, we help donate to these charities. We help give back to the community. So that's the bigger picture, like having your why established is like the reason why we work so hard and do this. Yes, we're successful and we give back to the community. You can't, you can only give out and help so many people with the money that you have. So the more successful they are, the more of an impact you make, right? So I think the way that I help balance that, because it's like, I don't talk about, like some people will point out like my watch, right? It's like, yeah, big deal. It's a watch,
It's not just a watch though.
Yeah, it's not just a watch.
Is that a Rolex?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And so, but like, a lot of these guys that are in our space, they'll talk about like, like here's my brand new Porsche.
Yeah, they'll mention the Rolex 42 times.
Yeah,
you call it a watch, you rock it, you'll be able to see it, or you wouldn't wear it.
Exactly.
But, and it's a staple and you've earned it, but you're not over there like,
sure.
All right, welcome to the Roy Snarr Show. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it. I mean, so it's like little things like that. Like I just try to balance it out, just be real, and then share the failures and the vulnerability. I think that really helps.
I think it helps a ton. That's what people want to know too. Is they're like, okay, what did you screw up? What did you not do well? I think it's something that as you share more and you open up your story more and you become more vulnerable, people respond and they respect and they love it.
Yeah.
I've noticed me be able to get better along the way at being super vulnerable, and even like in a funny way,
Sure.
Like, dude, I freaking screwed this up so bad. I can't believe I did this. I hope you guys never do this. But hear me out. Here's what I did, And it's like people relate to that so much because everyone's a freaking screw up.
Oh yeah, everybody. I actually like have fun talking about like the stuff I've messed up on, like and talking about the beginning where I was selling policies out of the back of my pickup truck, and I slept in my truck a couple of times, and then saying, hey, the first time I made all this money, I didn't save anything for taxes. Then I learned real quick that I forgot about my business partner, the IRS. They want money, and then I got in this taxing where I just had to give up all my money in my bank account. It went negative. And just sharing those stories, because far too often, people that like, especially in this instant gratification world we live in, and the world of Instagram and Facebook, everybody's the rock star, superstar, everything's perfect. Right. But if you come from the angle of like, no, dog, it's not perfect. We've all been through this hard times. Look how many times I failed. Look how many screw ups I've made so far this year. But I've learned from them, and hopefully you can learn from them too, because you're never going to get to that level of success without banging your head against the wall and screwing up and failing multiple
100%.
times. The only difference is you just got to be determined and keep going. That's
Yes.
what I attribute it to. Like, I'm not the smartest person in the world by any means, but I'm just
Just
determined.
one of the smartest I know. Sure.
I'm one of the most determined for sure.
And dude, I mean, IRS is my least favorite business partner.
Yeah.
I don't actually even you consider a business partner. I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know.